in a financial planning, an investment management conversation, your blood pressure, your temperature, your fear, your anxiety is rising, I would say you're on the wrong path.
Yeah. Last segment of today's show. It's going to be the meatier one, and we're introducing everybody to something we're calling Legacy Mountain. Okay, we all like to go outside. We like to hike. We like to, I think, train for all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
And life can kind of feel like, when you think about money, it can kind of feel like a mountain. You're climbing up to this peak of retirement, and a lot of people talk like that. But we were thinking more along the lines of, once you get there, you got to come down.
Yep.
And so we got a little graphic here we're going to show.
There
and
it
Matt, you've got your pen.
I do.
Can you just kind of walk through, this is what we're going to call Legacy Mountain, and we're going to touch on different aspects week after week of Legacy Mountain. And so explain it to us, and then I'm going to toss you kind of a specific question that happens on the way down.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, first things first, Legacy Mountain here. And yes, you do have to make it up the mountain first. And so if we're talking about making it up the mountain, that would be, come on now. There it is. I can do it. Guys, I can do it. I can do it. There it is. There it is. As you go up the mountain, that's your accumulation years, right? So this is, you're young, you're the person from our YouTube comment who's got all their money in the ETF making 30%. You don't care about risk off, right? You just want maximum market exposure. And the truth of the matter is, the way up the mountain is easier. The way up the mountain is easier because you have more time, you can make mistakes and you can recover. Not that big of a deal. Once you get to the top of the mountain, which we've got flagged here as retirement peak, once you're at the peak, that's where you're going to have to make a couple big decisions, and you're not going to be able to make those decisions again. So we're talking about, are you going to employ a Roth conversion strategy? How are you going to file for Social Security? All these things. Big decisions.
Which country club do you sign up for?
Exactly. These are things that in a lot of ways you can't do it over. And so our job, the reason that we want to talk about Legacy Mountain specifically, is because the way down the mountain in life, in retirement, it's more dangerous than the way up.
Yeah, like that's where you bang up your knees.
It's slippery.
That's where you like twist ankles.
Totally.
You just got all the weight of everything.
In fact, talking about that, we all went to Wyoming on horses. We went up a mountain, top of the plateau. What was that called?
Buffalo Plateau.
Buffalo Plateau.
Yeah.
So we're on top of Buffalo Plateau, but then you got to come down from Buffalo Plateau.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you guys felt, but the way down the mountain on a horse, much more difficult than the way up the mountain on the horse. Sure. My knees hurt more. My toes hurt more. You have to kind of sit back in the saddle. Everything hurts more. What if the horse trips? You're already, angled down, a little trip, and you can easily just kind of lose your balance, careen forward. It's the same with retirement, okay? You make a wrong step on the way down the mountain, and you can fall down the mountain. You can't fall up the mountain. You can't fall up the mountain, but you can fall down the mountain. And so our goal, the reason that we're talking about these things, the reason we talk about taxes, we want to show you the before and the after, let you make the decision, educate you, is because you got to get this right, and you can get it right. And if you get it right, you may be actually able to enjoy your retirement. That's why enjoy is on here.
That's right.
Most people that we see that come into the office, and I'm talking physically, because we have our physical location in Woodstock, Georgia. We're on the radio. People come in all the time. They talk to us. Most often what we see is people are not enjoying their retirement. They are locked up because there are some decisions that they need to make. They know they need to make them, but they don't have a good outlet for information. Yeah. They're getting all kinds of conflicting stories and information, and so they're locked up. Yeah. And the thing that's supposed to be fun and enjoyable, spending time with family, they're not able to do. And so what we're going to be talking about with Legacy Mountain, I think we have, like 150 topical kind of discussions. We're going to be talking 150 topical discussions on how you descend the mountain so that you can enjoy your retirement, so that your money can be empowered and working for you, and you can live the life that you want to live. And so we're talking about income. we're talking about taxes, we're talking about risk, we're talking about long-term care, and 150 other topics in between.
That's right. So, Aaron, the topic for today, now we all have a clear picture of what is Legacy Mountain, and we're going to be talking about this week after week. So I hope it's a helpful framework to have these conversations. But we're gonna stop at the enjoy flag here and just ask the question, how do you eliminate or decrease the amount of doubt and fear that come with trying to enjoy retirement? I don't know what it feels like, obviously, but that moment when you decide you're not going to work anymore, you're not going to get a paycheck anymore. Surely there's, unless you're, have saved up extreme amounts,
Or you got a pension or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. There's this doubt and fear start to creep in. What is it going to be like when I don't get that paycheck? How do you address some of those things?
Man, that's real. I mean, that's why we exist.
Yeah.
This is one of the most fun parts, for me at least, of all that we get to do every day for our clients, is that seeing the smile on people's faces when they realize, like, oh, it's not just possible. Like, the dream I had, it's imminent. It's here. And I think the first thing you have to do is, if I can say it this way, eliminate the extremes. I think if you talk to someone who's approaching retirement or even in it, and you say, to Matt's point, why are you locked up? Like, what is it that's preventing you from enjoying this? And what's often mentioned, or what's first mentioned, is something like, well, 2008, I felt this way, or, my grandma in the Great Depression, or, and any number of things
I've
like
lost
that.
a bunch of money throughout my working years.
Yeah. Or we had one, we're in Atlanta, a Delta pilot. Well, Delta went bankrupt, not that long ago.
Change.
Pension changes.
Yeah.
So whatever the situation is, I think one of the first steps is remove the extremes. And what I mean by that is, like, if we can take out all the horror stories, like if we can guarantee that you never have to deal with, something that extreme, like my money was cut in half overnight. Well, we can actually guarantee that doesn't happen, or any number of things along those lines. Remove the extremes, I think, is the first step. Like, if we can just, we'll work on fine tuning and getting down to the details of what exactly you want and what's in your dreams of retirement, how you want your days and your weeks and your months and your years to look like. We'll get there. But let's just start this first step down the mountain. Let's start with, let's remove the extremes. Right? Let's get, if you're really nervous, if you've had a paycheck for 40 years, every 2 weeks, you've just gotten that paycheck. Well, and maybe you want that. Maybe the idea of having what I call mailbox money. Like, hey, whether I go to work or not, guess what shows up every 2 weeks? A check. These days it's a direct deposit, but you know what I mean. Maybe you want that. Well, guess what?
That's still on offer.
You can create a guaranteed personal private pension where you get those paychecks every 2 weeks. We can build that for you. So that removes the extreme either of market conditions and losing my money overnight, or it removes the extreme of, well, now what do I do? My paycheck stopped. Just remove the extremes, and now we can focus on what you want to actually build to enjoy.
Right. Yeah. Just watching you guys educate over the years, I think one of the things that I was surprised by most was how doubt and fear tends to be tied to someone's perspective that they have to make one choice or there's only one option.
Right.
What's the right choice?
Yeah. And well, there's a lot of people on radio. There's a lot of big personalities on YouTube. There's a lot of big personalities in local markets that have a way and a truth to do something.
Yep.
And working with you guys, what I've seen is that's the furthest thing from the truth. There's 10 buckets of services, products, and tools that can be mixed and matched and used or not used to create exactly what a person wants.
Can I rant for a minute?
Yeah, go for it.
Matt got to rant a minute ago. He got to get his blood pressure up a little bit. But
Yeah.
what I hate about our industry, I don't even like calling it industry because that sounds, the services that we provide and our counterparts, our competitors. What I hate, there's a lot of things, but one of the reasons why we exist is to combat this very thing, and that is people who are basically salespeople. They're not advisors. They don't provide a service necessarily. That's not their aim. Their goal is to sell financial products. Well, if you're a salesperson, whether you're selling cars or you're selling homes or you're selling whatever, you have to try to create a need for the product that you're selling. You've got to try to create and help someone. I've got to convince you that you need what I have, and I'm the way that you get what you need.
And you're going to prey on doubt and fear.
Yeah, and so you have to find something. I've got to contrive the environment in your brain. I've got to try to contrive an environment for you where you, maybe you don't even know it yet, you need what I'm selling. And the two primary ways to do that, and I hate it that this also tends to happen with people who have spent 40 years saving up and they're at this crux of making some significant decisions, and that's the environment for this to happen. You've got salespeople who use fear and greed as a tactic to create this felt emotional need on your behalf so that they can now sell you a product. I hate it.
Yep.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Which is why we have a process. Look, I'll tell you right now, don't even take my word for it. I mean, like, we have a process that takes you through where you are, point A. And that's just inventory. That's just facts on a page. I'm this age with this much money, and here's where my money is. 401k, IRA, Roth, whatever it is, pension, Social Security. Facts, point A. Let's do point B. Okay, point B is where do you want to be, right? Let's define your retirement, even loosely. Let's define it. And now let's talk about how to get from A to B. Well, we're going to be bringing to any clients or people who want to engage us for that plan, we're going to be offering ideas. But we never offer one idea. Look, you're trying to get from A to B. If you ever used a roadmap before, there's 50 ways to get there. There is a best way to get there. But
There's a fastest way.
There's a fastest way.
There's a most scenic way.
Yeah. There's a shortest way, not always the fastest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be offering ideas, and you get to decide which one you like the most. It might be down this path. It might be down that path, and you can see the pros and cons. Don't take my word for it. Don't come into my office and if I'm making you feel, if you leave my office or if you start a conversation with me and you feel your stress increase, walk right out the door. I almost said something else.
Oh yeah, man.
Right, that you know
He is
what.
fired up.
Like just turn around and walk back out.
Yeah.
If anyone makes you feel in a financial planning, an investment management conversation, your blood pressure, your temperature, your fear, your anxiety is rising, I would say you're on the wrong path.
Yeah.
And so don't, I hope people who are listening don't fall into the fear and greed sales tactics that are out there. It drives me crazy. A process is the way around that.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is our first episode of this. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. We've touched on Legacy Mountain and doubt and fear. And, you know, one of the good things about starting this channel long ago is we've had years and years and years of perfecting how do we work with people virtually. Like, you know, I mean, on the IUL side, 99.9% of all of our clients and relationships are across the country. They're totally virtual. And we have a unique way of going about this whole plan, which is completely virtual. The meetings can happen over Zoom, but we're bringing an element to this planning space that we think is really unique, and it's an actual video review. So if you've been with us, we've told you that if you have an IUL and you want a second opinion, you can send that to us. We talk about those each and every morning as a team. We go into our studio, we record a custom video just for you, talking about your IUL and what we see. And then you can do with that what you want. Mm-hmm. And so we've brought that same process into the planning space. We need some information. It's a bit of a longer review because it's pretty exhaustive. Matt, you talked about taxes, risk, and income. But we're going to do that work. And you don't have to. We don't charge a dime for it because at the end of the day, we are. And I've watched this just be true. We want people to be empowered with their money.
Yep.
And why do we spend time on YouTube? Why do we educate? Why do we talk about this stuff? Is so that it's there forever. So people can watch this video 3 years from now and hopefully still be getting some version of truth from it and helpful advice. So if that's you and you're curious, if you're watching and you're wondering if your parents have a plan, you send them the video. You know, we would love to help, and we have ways of making that really seamless virtually wherever you are. So hope you've enjoyed this. We've got more segments. We've got more topics. Like Matt said, 150 to cover just on Legacy Mountain. But check back next week with episode number 2. Thank y'all.